The man anxiously placed the briefcase in front of the buyer. To his surprise, the buyer didn't even look at the contents inside. Instead, he tossed a whole bag of sparkling diamonds toward him. The man's eyes lit up instantly. He immediately opened the briefcase, only to find an unremarkable iron ring inside. But just as the buyer placed his hand on the ring, it suddenly glowed with a golden light. The man stood frozen in place, unable to believe what he was seeing. With a gentle wave of his hand, the ring floated up into the air, finally disappeared without a trace. But the man suddenly called out to him. He pulled out his prosthetic hand from the box, asking the buyer to help restore his right hand. The buyer didn't say a word. He simply reached into his pocket, pulled out another small bag, and poured its contents onto the prosthetic hand. What should have been diamonds turned into pieces of tea leaves. The man looked confused, still trying to process what was happening, when the tea leaves, as if alive, quickly enveloped the entire prosthetic limb. The buyer gave a soft wave of his hand, and the tea leaves instantly glowed with a green light. In the next moment, the man screamed in pain, as his entire arm felt as if it were being burned by flames. But before he could fully comprehend what was happening, a miracle occurred. Inside the briefcase, a brand new right hand had grown. Skin, veins, nails. Everything was perfectly intact.
Just as a gas grenade accidentally slipped out, Stanley quickly and carefully placed the remaining grenades on the ground in the nick of time. In a desperate move, he lunged forward and successfully grabbed the highly destructive biochemical weapon. However, this action completely exposed him to the enemy's line of sight. Immediately, the mercenaries opened fire on him with machine guns. Despite being completely suppressed by heavy fire, Stanley remained calm. Even in danger, he made sure to hide the gas grenade in a drainage pipe to prevent it from harming innocent people. He then quickly removed the chip device that would trigger the missile. Fortunately, after a round of intense firing, the mercenaries ran out of bullets. Just as one of them was about to set up a Barrett sniper rifle to continue shooting, he had no idea that Agent Mason had silently come up behind him for support. Mason's timely arrival saved Stanley. Meanwhile, the government had dispatched several bombers to destroy the entire Alcatraz island to ensure that the biochemical weapons would not threaten national security. Therefore, Stanley had to ignite the green flare before the bombs were dropped to signal the government that the biochemical crisis had been resolved.
The girl accidentally touched her hair and almost destroyed the entire country of South Korea because she discovered on TV that a monster far away in Korea was actually mimicking her movements. At first, the girl thought it was just a coincidence and didn't pay attention to it. However, when she watched the replay, she found that the monster's movements were completely synchronized with hers. Even when she dropped her phone in the park, the monster did exactly the same thing. To verify her suspicion, Anna took several friends to the park. She asked them to watch the Korean monster's activities. Sure enough, when Anna started dancing in the park, the monster in Korea also began dancing eerily. Her friends nearby were instantly terrified. Just then, military helicopters fired a missile at the monster. The moment it hit, Anna also felt pain in her abdomen. She instinctively threw a few punches around her, but she didn't expect that Anna had caused catastrophe. The aircraft was instantly destroyed by her. Anna panicked and wanted to flee the park, but she accidentally fell to the ground. When she woke up, she discovered that countless buildings in Korea had been leveled, and even 1,000 people had lost their lives because of it. Anna fell into deep remorse and decided to apologize to the people of Korea. So she came to the park again. Anna waved her arms to signal people to clear space. After everyone moved away, she slowly crouched down. Anna wrote words of apology on the ground with her finger, saying she would never appear again. This gesture successfully earned people's forgiveness. Anna was very happy to see this. After that, she never went to the park again. It seemed like life had returned to how it was before. But when Anna woke up this day, she discovered that a giant robot had appeared in Korea. Realizing something was wrong, Anna immediately went to the park outside. She was shocked to find her friend was in the park. She instantly realized that her friend was the robot. Seeing this, Anna told the man to leave immediately, but he directly refused her. Angry, Anna slapped him directly. Little did she know that this very action would turn the monster into an
To protect my daughter, I trapped her in a small machine, less than 10 square meters. Every time I brought supplies, we kept our distance. My daughter had a rare disease and could only breathe filtered air. I thought she'd live her whole life in this coffin, but then the unexpected happened. The purification system suddenly powered on, and even worse, yellow gas began pouring out into the streets. Anyone who inhaled it collapsed. I walked down the street confused, but before I could take more than a few steps, a larger wave of gas rushed toward me. I froze, and the gas hit me head on. The street turned into chaos. I ran home as fast as I could. Once I got inside, I pulled my wife away from the window. The next second, the toxic gas surrounded the window, seeping in through every crack. With my daughter in the purification room, I set it to energy-saving mode, and quickly grabbed my wife to leave. The gas was rapidly moving upstairs. We had no choice but to run to the top floor. A kind elderly couple lived there, and they let us in. We stepped onto the balcony, looking down at the terrifying scene below, speechless. But that wasn't the worst part. The entire city was covered in toxic fog. The gas had caused a power outage, and though my daughter was safe in the purification system, the backup battery wouldn't last until tonight. I decided to take the risk and go downstairs to change the battery. I carefully tested the air. The gas was invisible and odorless, but deadly. Changing the battery would take over 10 minutes, which most people wouldn't survive. I suddenly remembered an elderly man downstairs who always kept oxygen tanks in his house. For my daughter, I decided to climb down using the water pipes. Before entering the toxic fog, I took a deep breath, holding it in, and quickly made it to the target floor. I broke through a window and entered the elderly man's home. Just as I was about to search, I saw the elderly man lying on the floor, but he was already dead. I didn't have time to feel sorrow because I was running out of air. Even worse, the oxygen tank he usually carried with him was nowhere to be found. I panicked, grabbing a flashlight and searching everywhere, but couldn't find it. Just as I was about to suffocate, I found the oxygen tank in the corner. I quickly put on the mask, opened the valve, and breathed in just in time. Once I recovered, I grabbed the backup tank and was about to leave when I heard a noise from the bedroom. Driven by curiosity, I raised the hammer and opened the door, only to find a small dog inside. Strangely, the dog was fine and was even excited. I wondered if animals were immune to the toxic gas, but soon, the sight inside disproved that theory. The mother dog in the room had already died. I was puzzled, but didn't have time to think more. Back home, I successfully swapped the battery for my daughter and brought some supplies. To gather more batteries, I went back downstairs. The street was littered with bodies, foaming at the mouth. The scene was horrifying. I tightened my grip on the oxygen mask and crawled under a car, gathering as many batteries as I could. Just as I was about to leave, I heard a whistle. Curious, I walked over and saw a large group of people. I approached them and found out they were soldiers sent to evacuate survivors. The whole city had fallen, and the higher-ups decided to seal the city after rescue operations. As the captain saw my makeshift oxygen tank, he handed me a pure oxygen tank, asking me to join the main group. But I couldn't leave. My family was still here. The captain reluctantly turned away, but I called him back, asking for another set of oxygen gear, and told him about my daughter's condition. Despite the cost, he gave me a set.
Bon courage. Merci.
Back at home, I was horrified to find the toxic gas was still rising. We can't stay here any longer.